Today, we are talking Jevon Holland. And what will the Miami Dolphins do with him? Because in about, a week? A little over a week. Franchise tags are due. Let's talk about this. What is up, Fin fans? There's the curious case of Jevon Holland, and he's a free agent. He was a second-round pick, so the Miami Dolphins couldn't pick up his fifth-year option like they did with Jalen Waddle, like they did with Tua Tagovailoa, like they did with Jalen Phillips. I don't think they didn't do it with Austin Jackson, but they ended up giving him a contract anyway. So they have to sign him to a contract extension, and that is where we're sitting at right now with what do we do with Jevon Holland? So what I did was I went and I looked up different prices. Some of these prices are estimated, and I looked up the franchise tag value and everything, because on the 18th of this month is when franchise tags are due, and then you have to decide. I think you have about 2 weeks so you have the 18th they start, and then I think you have until the beginning or like a few days before the start of the season to finalize who you're franchise tagging. And then there's a whole debacle on how long until they actually sign the franchise tag and yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. But 18th is when teams can start franchise tagging their players. So let's jump into this. Jevon Holland had a very up and down 4 years with the Miami Dolphins. And before we get into contract details, I kind of want to show you right down here what I'm talking about, right? His rookie year, fantastic, 84.7 PFF grade, all good green and blues. He had a great pressure. His completion percentage was 54.5. If they threw at him, you weren't going to make a lot of catches. The passer rating he gave up, 88.6. Fantastic, right? Great, fantastic. 2 interceptions. Cool beans. Then in 2022, not so great, right? His pass rush was good. We did blitz him twice. And again, that is a big reason why the Dolphins beat Buffalo at home in week 3 was because of his blitzing. But things started getting worse, right? He was giving up 80% of the passes thrown at him. He had 110.2 passer rating. Not great. But then 2023 got a little bit better. We had the Hail Mary. But if you look at here, total snaps kind of went down as well. He had the most snaps in 2022. They went down in 2023. No sacks. Well, with Vic Fangio, it was a different style of defense, so we weren't really blitzing him. Good coverage grade here by PFF. Even though his completion percentage went down again. It went from 80 down to 68.8, not bad, but his, you threw at him 108.9 passer rating, and this past year it just was not good. His completion percentage went down 61.5, but look at that passer rating when thrown at him, 111.3 when thrown at him. He gave up 3 touchdowns. He had no interceptions. It was the first time in his career he didn't have any interceptions on defense. So, like I said, if you go off of PFF, which their grades are very subjective in my opinion, because you could have a game where a player hits certain metrics, but they'll give them a lower grade than other players who don't hit the same. It's just very convoluted to me. But if you go off their PFF grades, again, very uneven when it comes to Jevon Holland. Then Barry Jackson had an article that came out where he was talking about the defense, and he talked about Jevon Holland. He said, free agent safety Jevon Holland, once viewed as a long-term centerpiece, Holland now seems likely to find greater riches elsewhere in free agency. Miami, with many holes to fill and less than $5 million in cap space, cannot afford to give him the richest contract he's seeking. And there's less incentive to do it after a year in which Jevon Holland created only one turnover in the opener and didn't make any game-changing plays since September. PFF ranked him 67 among 96 safeties, far below his ranking earlier in his career, and he has a 111.3 passer rating in his coverage area, 24 for 39, 302 yards, and 3 touchdowns. So again, Javon Holland, I remember after last year, a lot of people were like, we got to figure out what to do with him. And he's, making comments about backing up the Brinks truck, and he wants to get paid, and he feels like he deserves to get paid, and all of these things. And if the Dolphins do sit back and they say, on the 18th or that 2-week window when teams can, franchise tag these players, the Dolphins are like, hey, we can't come to some type of contract agreement with Jevon Holland, so you know what, we're going to franchise tag him. That is a $19.6 million cap hit for 1 year on the franchise tag for Jevon Holland. To me, that ain't worth it. To me, that's not worth it. And then you go on PFF, and they have him, I think, the 4th ranked highest free agent. I'll look it up right now as I'm talking to you. And you look at the projected contract he is supposed to get. I want to give you the exact number of where they have him ranked. The third highest free agent. T. Higgins is 1, Trey Smith is 2. Then you have Jevon Holland 3, Chris Godwin 4, Khalil Mack 5. Like, again, these are all subjective because it goes off their PFF grades and it tells you who they like, and then they give you their projected contract, and it doesn't necessarily mean that that's the contract they'll get. Like Khalil Mack, they have him as the 5th best free agent out there, but he's he's going to be 34. He's kind of up there in age. So is he really better than some of these other guys, like a DJ Reed, who's only going to be 29, had a good season with the Jets. So I'm getting off on a tangent here. So if you go off of PFF's projection, they project that he'll get 4 years, $19.5 million a year, 57.5 guaranteed, with a total contract of $98 million. If he gets that contract with somebody, that will make him the highest paid safety in the NFL. His average will make him the 2nd highest paid safety, I think, to Winfield. I think Winfield is like $20 million a year, whereas Jevon Holland's $19.5. But that 57.5 guaranteed and that $98 million total guarantee, not total guarantee, but total contract, would make him the highest paid safety in the NFL. And again, I'm not here to crap on Jevon Holland. I like Jevon Holland. I think, if put in the right system, and maybe if he has more security, and I'm going to talk about kind of what happened, he plays like he used to, but not for that contract. Not for that contract. So I am not franchise tagging Jevon Holland, and I'm not going to give him a contract that PFF has said could be a possibility. So again, what is the plan with Jevon Holland? Now, I know, and I've read a lot of your comments when it comes to free agents. And again, after Sunday, full-fledged, dive in head first into free agency, because after Sunday, we have about a month before free agency starts. So we're going to get ready for that. And then after free agency, we start doing the draft process. I would like to keep him, and I know a lot of you guys wouldn't, but big, fat, pimply, dimpled butt, not for the contract that he wants. I would give him a contract that I saw fit, that would benefit the team, because he is a piece that you could build off of. So I'd give him a contract that would help the Dolphins cap-wise for the first possibly 2 years, and then give him his guarantees and maybe a signing bonus and, all this stuff that it won't affect the cap. But I would give him a contract that is in the realm of his play over the past 4 years. He has not played like the best safety in the NFL in the past 4 years, and I would not pay him as such, because that would be just throwing money away, because he hasn't proved it. So I would, sit down with Javon or sit down with his agent and be like, look, sign it, you know how they do on the paper and they fold it up, slide it to him. This is what we can offer you. This is our max, right? And it could be a 4-year deal, giving him $15 million a year, the guaranteed money, put it around like 47. I'd have to go back and look at, the rankings because that's where I got these averages. But I would put him in my mind where I think he has played. And it's not, number one, it's not even top 5 safety, right? So I'm not paying him like that. Here's what we would offer. What do you think? And obviously they're going to be like, you know what? We appreciate the suggestion, or we appreciate, you coming to us, but we're going to see what we can get in free agency. And if I'm the Dolphins, I would say, fantastic. I totally understand. Go out there, see what you can get in free agency. But the only, thing I ask, being that we did draft him and, this and that, and, just as a common courtesy, can you just keep us in the loop, right? If you get an offer from a team and they will give you $1 million more than we will, just let us know. Maybe we'll match it. Give you $2 million more. Just let us know. If they're in the realm of where we are, just give us a call. If not, if you can get 5 to whatever million more than we're offering you, we wish you the best and I have a fruitful career with that team. But again, keep us in the loop. And that's what I would say to Jevon Holland. This is what I'm offering you. You don't like it? Okay, cool. Test free agency. Just keep us in the loop. Let us know what you're hearing out there. And if we can match it, we'll match it. If not, we appreciate it. Because Javon Holland, from what I saw this past season, it looked like he was making a business decision, right? It looked like, it was the first, and I talked with Omar Kelly about this. You can go back and check out that video where me and him were kind of talking about the 2024 Miami Dolphins. But it looked like he was making business decisions when it came to his play. We've seen his play. His rookie year, he upended a tight end for the New England Patriots, flipped them right over. Like, he was just missile in that backfield, making tackles. He was just this and that, like really, really a different player than we saw last year. And, Omar said it's the first time, he probably felt good. He felt healthy. Because there were some plays where instead of him shooting and making the tackle, it looked like he initiated the block. Is that a technique that they taught him, where initiate the block and allow the guy behind you to get in and make the tackle? I don't know. I'm not going to, say this or that. But if you watched him his first 3 years and then you watched him this past year, you noticed he played different. He did not play that I'm going to shoot into the backfield and tackle you type of player. He was more conservative in his tackles. And he did come off a double knee injury and all this stuff. So he probably was making a business decision and thinking, I don't want to get injured and then try to test free agency and make less money. But on the flip side, it doesn't look good on film. And what are you going to say to your new team? Look, watch my first 3 years in Miami. That's who I am. This last year, I just didn't want to get hurt because I wanted to make as much money as I possibly can. That team's going to be like, all right, so if you're in your contract year with us and we need you to play at a certain extent, you're going to call it in because you want so I'm not saying that's what he did. But again, if you watched it, it definitely looked that way. And that is, where, as a Dolphin fan, you're like, because I like Jevon Holland. I like when we drafted him. I thought it was a great pick when we drafted him. I think the running back, I think J.K. Dobbins. No, I don't think it was that draft. Was it that draft? I know J.K. Dobbins went to the Ravens, and then we took. Who was there was the player that went right ahead of the Miami Dolphins. I'm going to look it up. That I wanted the Dolphins to take. He went to Denver. Javonte Williams. I wanted Javonte Williams. I think we all wanted Javonte Williams. Then he went, and then the Miami Dolphins took Jevon Holland. I was very happy with the Jevon Holland pick. I think we're all very happy with the Jevon Holland pick. But again, we're in a situation now where you want to make the most money you possibly can. That's fantastic. It's not going to be with us because you haven't proven it. We'll see. But let me know. Let me know what your thoughts on this whole situation with Jevon Holland. Like I said, I read your comments, so I know there's some of you guys who are like, I'm done. He can go. It was nice having you here, but, you know, blah, blah, blah. Or do you agree that offer him a contract, see what he says, but don't break the bank? Comment below. Let me know what you guys think. Fact of the day. At 6.14 yards per play, the Dolphins rank second among all NFL teams in 2022. Only the Super Bowl champion Chiefs, 6.43, posted a higher mark. That's too bad that we didn't do anything that year. Maybe we will this year. We probably won't. I'll see you guys tomorrow with my Super Bowl preview video. We're going to be talking about the Super Bowl. I'm going to talk about all aspects of the Super Bowl. Hopefully you watch it. Hopefully you like it. But I'll see you guys tomorrow. Like usual, stay classy and fins up.